Check, check, 1, 2. Let me see here. Oh, there you are. Am I live on everything? I'm assuming there's some liveness coming. Uh, we're going to wait and see here. I'm assuming there's some liveness coming. Um, let's see. Let's see. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Oh yeah, everybody's hopping in here now. Huh. Let me do. I'm actually on my phone. Here we go. Let me do it that way. Okay. Can you guys hear me? I just need one person to say they can hear me. That's it. Because I'm going out to all the sites, but I am en route. Hey, Rick Powers. I'm en route back from Virginia to Pennsylvania, and we're in the mountains of lower Pennsylvania. Okay. Everybody can hear. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you guys. I'm going to rotate this back around and I'm going to give you the update for tonight. This is coming through my cell phone, so we should be good to go. But as you can see, the title for tonight's called Ukraine Warp Date Miracle Report Day 4. You know, we hear enough of the negative news, and I'm going to tell you some truth about what's going on. But tonight, I want to encourage you with some positive news. Um, I'm going to give you the reality. This is the reality up until this very second. Just a little while ago, I was on the phone with Ukraine. I am completely updated as to what is going on. I know that we see some encouraging signs that are encouraging, that possibly tomorrow there will be a meeting between a Ukrainian delegation and a Russian delegation. Now, this is not Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Zelensky, but this would be representatives of the government possibly meeting on the Belarusian border. Now, hey, we'll take it. If we could have a miracle tomorrow, um, praise God, we would take it and we will be all over it. But as I have promised, until this is over, we're going to go every night and we're going to update literally what's going on. God is blessing. I'm even getting more sources. People are coming alongside, seeing the reports. Tomorrow night, I'll be back in the Palatial Studios back in Pennsylvania. But tonight, I can tell you that God is at work through us. Remember, one person at a time, working together makes a difference. Last night, we talked about Norman Vincent Peale. A person can only do what they can do. And I'm here to tell you that this group right here, working together, partnering online, this online community from around this country, we're over $10,000 raised for Ukraine relief in just a couple of days. My friends, do not give up. Tomorrow, we've got a major deal where we're going to get this money to Ukraine instantly to support people on the ground there. Now, with all that said, I want to update you and I won't hold you. I still have some hours to drive home, but I can tell you everything. Here are all my notes on the napkin. You can tell we're not in the Palatial Studios. So let's start here so I don't forget anything. I've been writing stuff down as I've been talking to Ukraine all day. And here it is as of 8:48 p.m. Eastern time, Standard Time, 3:48 a.m. in Ukraine. Number one, Zhenya's wife and children, 4 children, are still at the border. The 2 older children that had the car broken down in the middle of the forest, they have been rescued and they have been taken to the border. Now, as of just a few minutes ago, they are 4 kilometers from the border. Last night, this time, they were 7 kilometers from the border. Yes, it's cold. Yes, it's wintertime. Yes, they're in cars. But Zhenya told me, he goes, they're getting close. They're halfway to the border. However, last night there was a missile attack at the border. Missiles were dropping 4 kilometers from from the border position there on Poland, where many Ukrainians, now up towards 360,000 refugees, are trying to cross the border. Praise God, those missiles did not hit people. It did destroy some infrastructure there right at the border. Um, but the people are safe and they are still crossing the border. So Zhenya's family, his 4 children, think about this: 2 babies, 4 children, in line already for this long, and probably at least another 24 hours. But here's the beautiful thing Jania told me just a few minutes ago. He says, Greg, the Ukrainian people, we're supporting each other, we're loving each other. There are people in villages right there by the border. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. People in villages right there beside the border, that these grannies and grandpas are making big pots of borscht and soups, and they are going car by person, and handing out bowls of soup to those that are waiting in line to cross the border. Zhenya said this is many old people who would possibly even remember, the end of World War II, or definitely the Soviet Union times. And these older people are out there with their steaming pots of soup, giving it bowl by bowl to person after person while they're waiting to cross the border. Remember, one person at a time, working together, making a difference. Second thing I want to give you tonight: tomorrow, if you're here in the United States and you're at work and you've got to go out and say, okay, I'm going to lunch, I want to go and support somewhere, let me tell you where to go to lunch tomorrow. Go to Kentucky Fried Chicken. Why Kentucky Fried Chicken? Because every Kentucky Fried Chicken location in the nation of Ukraine right now, as of today, is feeding everybody for free. They're using every resource, they're cooking every piece of food, they're pulling all supplies, and they are literally handing out free food from Kentucky Fried Chicken throughout the country. Go tomorrow and support Kentucky Fried Chicken. Um, Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, just came out a few minutes ago and said point blank, the next 24 hours are going to be crucial for this war. Now, of course, we'll be looking at that tomorrow night. 24 hours from now, I will have everything connected. I have much video. Tomorrow night, I am planning to have a Ukrainian on here with me to discuss what's going on real time. But the next 24 hours are crucial. Why? Couple of reasons. Many locations in Russia today were hit very hard, but they're still standing. Kyiv is standing. Kharkov is standing. But the onslaught is real. Literally, in the southern city of Odessa, there are literally grandmas and grandpas sitting there with Molotov cocktails and hammers, waiting for an amphibious invasion, and they're just going to let them fly. This is a person by person support of the nation of Ukraine, not only in Ukraine, but outside of Ukraine. So the next 24 hours are very critical because the bombardment has been so serious today. And of course, in light of a potential conversation between Ukrainian representatives and Russian representatives, tomorrow could be a really big deal. So tonight in America, be in prayer for the next 24 hours specifically, calling peace over the nation, calling Ukraine and its borders to stand for the glory of God. Now, here is what's going on, and I've got a miracle I'm going to give you at the end. Right now, 15 minutes ago, there are some disturbing things that are happening. 15 minutes ago, missiles began to be fired into Ukrainian territory. Now, that's not new. Missiles have been going into Ukraine for 4 days, but something changed about 15 minutes ago. The missiles over the last 15 minutes have been fired from Belarus, not Russia, and not from inside Ukraine in territory that Russia controls. Now, missiles are coming within the last 15 minutes from Belarus. Secondly, Belarus today had a proxy vote where it was 67% approval. This is just coming out now as well, where Belarus is de-ratifying their nuclear agreement with the world. Let me explain what that means to you. And this is breaking news. Russia can now move nuclear weapons freely inside of Belarus. That's what that de-ratification of that agreement means. Now, in light of President Putin today coming out and saying, okay, we're going to put our nuclear facilities and our nuclear capabilities on special alert, this we need to pay attention to. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to be talking about a little bit of the Israel connection because there is an Israeli connection in with this war in Ukraine. So we must pay attention to that. But Belarus, right now, missiles are coming into Ukraine from Belarus. Fact. De-ratification of nuclear agreement. Fact. All happening within the last couple of hours. Projected 5 a.m. Ukraine time. And that is in 1 hour from now. This is confirmed. This is 100% confirmed. And I even called Ukraine just a little while ago and I asked them, I said, listen, I'm going to be going live. We're supporting you from America. We're doing the best we can. Is this a fact? 100%, Greg, it's a fact. At 5 a.m. Ukraine time, Belarus is scheduled to drop paratroopers in Western Ukraine. That includes the cities of Khmelnytsky. That includes the territories of Ivano-Frankivsk and Zhytomyr and Rovno, Chernivtsi, all this western part. In 1 hour from now, Belarusian paratroopers are scheduled to drop into Western Ukraine. Verified. We already know Chechnya is there fighting alongside Russia. And I have another bit of disturbing news for me personally, but we know that Russia, of course, China, of course, India with their silent vote is just pitiful. Okay, of course, Iran, but just 1 hour ago, the nation of Brazil in South America, their president refused to condemn the war in Ukraine. Just as a human, forget Russia, forget Ukraine, forget everything. He refused to condemn the war, and he said, Brazil will stand neutral. We do not support anybody. Folks, that's just bad news within itself. Nuke agreement, Belarus paratroopers, missiles from Belarus. As of about 20 minutes ago, a new missile attack was dropping on Kyiv and on Kharkov. So we expected that. As Zelensky said, the next 24 hours will be ramped up. Now, folks, that's all the notes that I have on the napkin tonight. I told you that we would be going every night and I would be giving you up-to-date, spot-on, directly from Ukraine. You're not getting it from Fox. You're not getting it from Newsmax. You're not getting it from Al Jazeera. This is directly from inside Ukraine via this napkin but this is all I had to write on in a car here in the mountains of Pennsylvania. Isn't technology wonderful? I'm in the mountains of Pennsylvania, 9 o'clock at night, talking to Ukraine at 4 o'clock in the morning, sharing with you, and together as a as I've been speaking so much Russian. I was going to say as a commander, as a team, we are rallying together to do our part. Special thank you, of course, to Pastor Kent Bell, Bethel Life. He is administrating all of these finances that we are raising, and I promise you, if you are supporting this effort, and I'm going to give you another reason and a miracle report as I'm closing off tonight, but our giving address, and I'm sure they're putting it in the chat, is blwc.org/give, blwc.org/give, and all of these resources plus more are going directly to Ukraine. And our goal is to get it there tomorrow. I did, PK, just receive a message from Zolik Zelensky, and he has found us a way potentially to get this cash there instantly tomorrow. These are some very smart people. Now, my friends, I want to close with an encouraging miracle. A couple of hours ago, I was in West Virginia, and Zhenya called me. He says, Greg, I've got to tell you this. Just had a scare. I said, okay, what's going on, buddy? He goes, as you know, we are raising resources. We are providing for people. We're feeding them. We're sheltering them. They're partnering with Dawn of Life Church. Dawn of Life Church is full of beds. Thank you, Pastor Rostislav Gudin. We're doing everything we can to help everybody. Of course, we want to help the entire nation, but we have such a special connection there to that Khmelnytsky Oblast. And if we help there, they're helping everybody. We're working together. Zhenya called me, says, Greg, we were over at Dawn of Life. We were dropping off beds. We were dropping off mattresses. And a gentleman came up to me and says, Jania, can you help tonight? And Jania goes, what do you need? We have 50 orphans. 50 war orphans. Let me repeat that for you. 50 war orphans. They have nowhere to go. Do you have anywhere we can house them and we can feed them? Zhenya said, you bring them to me right now. So Zhenya and his team, exhausted over the last couple of hours and probably even right now, are receiving 50 new orphans, feeding them, keeping them from being so afraid. You know, Zhenya was crying to me earlier, and he says, Greg, yesterday, my 5-year-old child had to lay down in the dirt and put their hands over their head as missiles were dropping on the border. And my wife had to tell them it's big fireworks, but everything will be okay. What if that's what we had to do tonight to tell our children? It's big fireworks, but just lay in the dirt and cover your head. Everything will be okay. We'll talk about that more tomorrow night. Probably I'm going to have Zhenya on here. But to the miracle is not the 50 orphans. The miracle is what happened right after that. When Zhenya left the church where they were supplying mattresses, we'll take the 50 orphans. They're en route and getting there now. They had to go to a street in Ukraine, in Khmelnytsky, to gather some other things. I've been on that street 1,000 times. The street is Shevchenko. That's the name of the street. I've been there sitting on that street literally thousands of times. It's a main artery there in Khmelnytsky. And Zhenya told me, he goes, Greg, when we got down to the street, all of a sudden, my eyes became full of metal. He goes, and as they were becoming full of metal, the sirens started going off in our city, and the missiles were coming to the north side of our city. He goes, but my eyes were so bad that I couldn't even function. He goes, I've never experienced this before. I don't know what it was, but it felt like, steel shavings all in my eyes and I couldn't see. I said, man, what are you talking about? He says, I'm telling you what happened. Folks, this is just a few hours ago. I said, what do you mean steel shavings and metal in your eyes and sirens going off and we're taking orphans? He says, Greg, we're in Shevchenko Street. We just decided to take the 50 orphans. We've dropped mattresses off. We've dropped food off. We're there gathering other supplies. And all of a sudden, my eyes just exploded with pain. It was so bad. My team, 4 guys working with him, dropped everything they were doing, picked him up, and carried him to the hospital. When they got to the hospital, of course, it's such chaos there. They He's very well known in the city, and a doctor got to him and says, "What is wrong with you?" He goes, "My eyes, my eyes, my eyes." And they flushed his eyes out. To this moment, we still do not know what was in his eyes. They flushed his eyes, and they were treating him for an hour or so. And then the doctor came back and says, "Zhenya, what street were you on?" "I was on Shevchenko Street." "Zhenya, this is God's hand." Zhenya goes, "What are you talking about?" And by this time, his eyes are being washed out. Zhenya's entire team had left that street and came to the hospital with him. And the doctor told him, "Zhenya, this is God's hand. You're being God's angel by serving these people, these orphans, and these families. It's God's hand." "What are you talking about?" "There was just a firefight, small arms, AK-47 firefight on the street where your team was. It happened as soon as you left and you came to the hospital. God is looking out for you." And that's what I believe. That's what's happening right now in Ukraine. And I can report to you, Zhenya's back home, eyes are washed out. Whatever it was, it's gone. His eyes are looking good again, other than exhausted. There was a firefight there. We do not know the results of that. But somehow through that set of events, God was looking out for Zhenya and his team tonight. Folks, this is the real deal about what's happening right now in the nation of Ukraine. As we were talking, we will continue. I'm going to close out. I still got a few hours to drive home, but we will be here tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for your care. Thank you so much for your support. I'm here to tell you that God is at work in Ukraine. God is at work around the world, and somehow God is going to use all of this for his glory. I promise you that as old Charles Cutchin said when I would preach in Virginia, God is standing up. And I'm here to tell you, not only is Ukraine standing up, and many people around the world, this has become a person to person helping each other time, that people are coming together. God is going to be glorified. So that's the update. That's what's going on. Sorry, no bells and whistles. I've got a light here and a dome light in my car and a telephone, but we're connected. And I had my notes on a napkin. But folks, I promise you, as of 9:07 p.m. Eastern, 4:07 a.m. in Ukraine, that's exactly what is going on. Remember, the next 24 hours be in serious prayer for Ukraine, that the God of peace would somehow do something miraculous in that region of the world. And I say region because it's becoming regional now with the addition of Belarus. Pray, pray, pray. And folks, remember, in 1 hour, paratroopers are supposed to be coming in from Belarus. Let's pray that God takes complete control of the situation. So, folks, that's it. 24 hours from now, we will update you again. I want to thank everybody that's helping. There are a lot of folks that are helping right now. Fresh videos, fresh news, fresh updates connected to some of the systems out there that are getting behind the scenes activity are being sent. I linked a folder today en route back to Pennsylvania. I linked a folder to an organization that is fighting the war on the technical side, and they are feeding me stuff also. I look forward to getting that when I get home. So there you have it. We love you. Continue to pray for Ukraine. Remember, God is in control. And even though the world's in chaos, God is not. May the Lord bless you, keep you. Thank you for all of your support. Let's be here every night at 8:30. And I hope tomorrow night to have a Ukrainian on here. We love you guys. May God bless you. And we'll see you in 24 hours. Good night.